Ah, indeed, our 28th year. We have back-to-back champions each of the last 2 years, Alan Runkle and Jan Hill.
First throw of 1990 is a 9 count.
Leaving the 6-pin, George, that's the right-hander's 4-pin, and that's caused by going just a little bit snug on the first ball, and typically for the first ball of the match, that's a good shot.
Yeah, you can certainly excuse that on the first shot of the televised match here.
Jerry Eckel, of course, qualified at Northwest Lanes, which is owned by Fran Ruggieri, who also owns the Golden Triangle, Northwest and Coleraine.
He gets the spare easily. That brings up David Forwood for his first shot.
David Forwood's been around for a long, long time, and he's a veteran of many, many tournaments and has been on TV several occasions. And starts the match off with, again, a pocket shot, but a tentative pocket shot. And it's a replay of a lot of shots that he's going to watch. Let's take a look at it. Your ball here is going to deflect. After he hits the 1-3 pocket, the ball, you're going to see it jump to the right in the 6-pin. Second one from the right-hand side of your screen is going to go to the channel right there. Picks up the spare easily, George, and both players open the match with a tentative but yet adequate shot.
And both players with the 9 spare. They're tied at this point, heading into frame number 2.
And being the veterans they are, they look relatively relaxed, I must say.
And
yes.
You look relatively relaxed, George. Welcome to the show.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
great
glad
to have
be
you
here.
Excellent.
I grew up with this show. I've seen 1 or 2 of them.
Lonesome George.
Oh. Forwood buries that one.
Well, we saw a weak shot the frame before, a little bit more tentative. This one he nails. Let's take a look at it right now. You want to see solid? You want to see perfection? Here it is. 1-3 pocket filled up. No deflection here. Look at this ball take the 5 out. Kaboom. You guys are out of here.
Jerry Eckel up in the second.
He's really loft in that ball, Dave, is he not? Or is that his usual style?
Jen, you and me both. I mean, we've been on here before, and the adrenaline's pumping, and this is about as hard as I've ever seen Jerry Eckel throw. And you're right, he's getting a lot of air underneath the ball, and of course that delays the roll. And until he settles down, I don't think he's going to expect too many mixing shots.
Jerry, of course, using one of those blue hammers that seem to be so popular. He nails it. Jerry Eckel.
Yeah, Jerry Eckel's forte, George, has always been a fairly good spare shooter, and he's always right around that pocket. Doesn't get in too much trouble as we take a look at the score. Very early on, a 1-pin advantage going to David Forwood, but the strike, the big advantage up. If he doubles in the third, he can increase it to 11 pins.
Of course, Jerry Eckel would certainly like to get on track right here.
Again, throwing the ball exceptionally hard, Jennifer. You and I both watched Jerry bowl for years and years, and watch this on the replay. Jennifer mentioned that he's getting air underneath the ball. Now watch how far out in the lane it goes. It's about 6 feet. Now it goes in. Now it's going to deflect a little bit to the left, as you see it there. That pushes the 2-pin straight back, and the 4 goes into the channel rather than taking out the 7. If he'd cut down on his speed, he'd get a little better roll, no deflection, and he'd be carrying a few of these shots, George.
You know, I saw George yesterday at Brentwood Bowl, which, by the way, that's where qualifying is going on this weekend. There are spots available. I was amazed to see that he only had 1 ball with him. I said, Jerry, rather, you know, do you have a backup? He says, I've got 1 just in case the thumb hole falls out or something goes wrong with my equipment. But other than that, he has so much confidence in the ball he's throwing.
This is Dave Forwood working on a strike. Hangs it out wide.
Oh boy, oh boy. That's a shame. He's going to go wide. Now, if we got a shot of his hand position, watch his hand go around the ball early. Right here, he's coming off the side of the ball. That creates that ugly rotation that you see right there. And the ball will never, ever start to hook up. And if it does, it will not hit. When you see that turn on the side and underneath, you want it on top or moving over to the left.
There he goes after the 210. Takes the 2.
While the qualifier is going on this weekend in Brentwood Bowl, next weekend it will be at Delfair Lanes in the heart of Delhi. George, you know where that's at, don't
Absolutely.
you?
That's about a mile from home, I think, right?
Very nice. That's just where we are, but just about a mile.
Dave Forwood up in the 4th frame, working on that open frame.
Sign of a true veteran after an open frame is to do that. Stuffs it in the hole, an absolutely perfect shot. Not a lot to watch there, only the 10 pins. Made a quick exit to the back of the lane.
Now, George, Dave was fairly confident, or rather...
How about Dave? Yeah, it's week 1. What are we gonna do, Jen? Jerry Eckel on the right-hand lane, a solid 7. By far his best shot of the match. We're going to watch here on the replay, ladies and gentlemen, the Stone 7. Now, the second one from the left-hand side of your screen. The second pin, that's the 4 pin. Now watch what it does. It goes right around the belly of the pin. That's the pin that's supposed to take out the 7. It did not do its job. Docked that pin a little pay.
He's been getting plenty of practice shooting that 7 here. And he's nailed it again.
Back to my previous thought. David has been on our show, David Forwood, that might be. He's been on our show many times, and being the confident type of person that he is, we ask a question, how many times have you been king? And he put today.
He's going to be king today.
He's going to be king.
Well, we will certainly find that out. He's got to get through Jerry Eckel first.
Jerry Eckel, very deliberate player, left-hand lane. Used to take 7 steps or so, or at least so many we couldn't really count them all.
It may go.
But he's cut it down to 5. Let's take a look at it on the split screen. You can watch his approach. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually 4. He's cut it from 7 to 4. Not bad, Jerry. 6 pin again is not going to do its job. Goes to the channel. Now we get a messenger coming over, as you see in the middle of the screen, but it didn't quite get there. Jerry's done a lot of work on his game in the last 4 years, Jen. He's speeded up his game a little bit, cut down the number of steps, and I think it's made him a better bowler.
And we're still seeing him here, so it must be pretty evident.
If nothing else, he's been consistent so far today. 9 spare across.
Exactly. The match, as you can see it, we're looking at 9 pins. The advantage going to Dave Forwood with the strike. He could cut that 9-pin deficit down to a 1-pin lead if he strikes here. It's in the area. Oh, but again, the ball did not roll off, leaving the 2, 4, 5, 8.
The old bucket. One of the buckets.
The old bucket, that's right. We've left a few of those.
Yeah, you got that right.
Now,
David?
Jen, your particular way of shooting this and mine are different. How do you line up?
I go my strike target 4 right, cut down on my hook a little bit. I know a lot of people play it from the left, but I prefer my strike target right, and I must say I have a pretty decent percentage on it.
Now David shoots it from the left, identical to the way I do. Mm-hmm. And again, there's no right or wrong, ladies and gentlemen, on shooting these spares. You develop a system that's good for you, and then you try to perfect that system. Mm-hmm. We were talking about hammered balls. Well, there's blue ones, there's red ones, there's black ones, there's pearl ones. There's all kinds. George, you did a nice piece on that the other night.
Yes, on Thursday. Talked to Jack Calhoun, your buddy out at Western Bowl.
Right. Jack's been around for a long, long time, and we'd like to see him back on the show again, but he works a lot of Saturdays.
Dave Forwood leaves the 7.
Too much speed, Jen, wouldn't you say? Doesn't it look like he's still a little bit
just not reacting.
Too hard. He's talking to himself. If he wants to be king today, he's going to have to do something a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his previous 2 trips on that lane, he had strikes. This time a 9 count. Right now, Dave Forwood is 8 pins and back in this match.
Mr. Tony Plank is back with us this year. Comes every single week from Beautiful Brewery. And by the way, Tom Junker also from Ultimate Distributing, a new distributing company, putting out those fine Hudy products. We'd like to thank them both for coming today.
The world-winning Little Kings.
Yes, sir.
One of my favorites.
Little Killers.
We know my opinion on that. They are my favorite, no doubt.
Oh, Oh, my gosh. A terrible shot out of Jerry Eckel in a very inopportune time. Let's take a look at it on the replay. He's going to rear up early. There you see it, rearing up stiff-legged. The ball never, ever has a chance. Cuts straight through the 2-pin, takes the 4 out, the 10, the 8, and that's all. He's got a very difficult spare, plus he lost a lot of count. To make this, he's going to have to cross over into the 1-3 pocket area and throw the head pin over like that.
He did it. Jerry Eckel.
You want to see how to make it? This is textbook. Takes an excellent angle at it, going right about the 7th board, letting the lane take the ball over. Head pin, center your screen. Boom, cross-body block via Munoz into the 7th pin, and he is out of there.
Jerry Eckel now with a 4-pin lead, so that poor pin count you were talking about, Dave, chopped his lead in half. He's up in the 7th frame, working on the spare.
It's a tight match we've got here.
Well, that's what it's all about here on BPA King of Bowling. We've been nurturing this city with good bowling for a lot of years. Oh, catastrophe on this one now. As well as he picked up the last spare, this one's going to be tough. The 4-6.
You're talking next to impossible.
Maximum penalty.
Maximum penalty is right. I've been bowling for, let's see now, without giving away my age, let's just say 25 plus years, and I've only made this once. Very, very difficult.
He's giving it a ride.
No.
No dice.
Jerry doesn't look, real confident. Looks like he's rearing up a little bit at the line. Might be fighting that step conversion.
Exactly, and we'll talk to him after the match and see if maybe that's part of it.
Obviously bowled very well to make it to our telecast.
So the door is wide open now for Dave Forwood to take control of this match. Dave Forwood up in the 7th frame.
Look out, it is there. Oh, too much deflection now.
Ultimate bad break there.
The 8-10. It looks like a great shot halfway down the lane, but then the ball never goes into a roll. Watch it, right there over the 10th board. Now look, no roll. It starts backing off the pocket. The 5-pin goes in front of the 8, which is what it's supposed to take out. Barely gets it out, leaves a relatively easy spare.
We'll be seeing our Golden Ball contest later on in the program today. We'd like to invite you all to come out and see that. We do tape early in the morning, 8 a.m. Sunday morning. We do it, and it's a good opportunity to win a little bit of money and come out and have some fun.
Well, there you see it. 3 pins separating the 2 players, but that devastating open in the 7th frame for Jerry Eckel gives Dave Forwood approximately a 9-pin lead.
Dave Forwood now up in the 8th.
Come on.
Hammered it.
No deflection there. Just an absolutely perfect shot. But again, both players seem to be using a little bit more speed than what we had to use during qualifying here last week, Jen.
I absolutely agree.
I just wonder if it's still the adrenaline or possibly they feel they want to hold a tighter line. But we'll talk to them after game 1.
I think, when you're on a telecast bowling under the lights and there's pressure on you, I think just sometimes getting to the pocket's enough.
Eckel had to have that strike.
That's right.
And he buried it.
And that strike we're going to look at right here. He throws a great shot. He'll stay down a little longer. There you go. He comes up after the shot now. Now we get the good clean roll. 1-2 pocket filled up. 10 in the pit. And I've got to say it, every pin doing its job.
And he could sure use it again right here.
See if he stays down on this one.
And if he does, he could put the pressure right back. Yeah, kind of halfway stayed down, Jen.
Solid 7-pin.
We could explain it to viewers at home at this point that the optimum position to get the most out of your ball, George, is to stay low at the line. You get that good leverage and the good fulcrum to come through and create the power. If you're coming up as the ball's coming off your hand, you're going to lose a little bit of that. And that's a little bit of what we saw in that shot out of Jerry, I think.
It also makes it a lot harder to hit the mark you're aiming for.
Jerry Eckel with a spare in the 9th. Still trailing Dave Forwood at this point, but it is close. However, strike by Mr. Forwood here. It could just about slam the door.
Well, it wouldn't be over, but I'll tell you what, George, it would really, really put the hammer on Jerry Eckel. Again, going around the ball, we show you the great shots, we're going to show you the mistakes. David does it again. Watch his hand. His thumb starts to rotate around the ball way too soon. Then we got that side-to-side roll, never goes into the hook, and deflects sharply when it hits the 1-3 pocket, leaving the 2-4-5. Very choppable, but he made the 1-2-4-5 before, taking the same angle, same results.
Looks like he's pretty comfortable with that way of shooting that spare. And that's good, and I think that's the key.
There you see it. We have a 9-pin match, both players with a spare working. This match is still up for grabs, so don't go away. But if David Forwood strikes out, or strikes in the 9th, or the 10th and 11th frames, he shuts out Jerry Eckel and goes on to match number 2. There is one of them. Kind of an interesting strike, too, by the way. The deflection on this is there, but the power kind of kicks in halfway through the rack. Let's take a look at it. Watch the ball right after it enters the 1-3 pocket. In, and now it takes the 5 out. The neck of the 5, or the belly of the 5, takes the 8, and Jerry Eckel knows that he's in big, big trouble.
Forwood can put it away right here. He does it.
Well, that's
saying,
it.
oh, if I could
Jerry.
just have that 1 frame back.
An open frame on the split, a 4-6 split.
All Dave Forwood has to do is keep this ball on the lane, and he goes on to match number 2.
Well, he only needed 2, and he gets 9.
I really think the key to this match, Jen and George, was the fact that Jerry was just too pumped up and throwing too hard too early, and never really seeming comfortable with the shot.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Jerry right back out to Brentwood Bowl today. Get another shot at it.
He's always there.
He's always. It's great.
He's a veteran.
With his 1 ball, too. Amazing.
It's a throwback to the old days there. He got out the old black ball. Just would sling it down the middle. Dave Forwood, our winner. He advances to game.